In this video, Lister-D. Would you be surprised to hear that this comes in a kit form? I would be, and in fact it doesn't. A YouTube video shows this in a kit form. Or does it?
Look at this day. It's an absolutely bloody gorgeous day.
G'day, it's Thomas here from Thomas PCGuru Engines, and we have some news, and then we're gonna take the clothes off the Lister-D and see what's under its skirt. The news is, it's quite big news really. This is from OKMO Models. As you know, Jin makes these amazing engines. Now, any of the engines with the 6 screws in there can now be fitted with his new friction clutch. I have a hit and miss engine in my garage that has the rusted remains of a friction clutch on it, and I've never seen how they work. You can see in this video how it works. I've flicked off a couple of shorts and I'll show you the short here. I've used Jin's own video in the short with his full knowledge and cooperation, because it'll get a little bit wider views on my channel than on his. But it's a cool part. It's not that expensive. I think it's $85 including postage and everything. But again, if you use my code and link in the comments and in the description of this video, then you can improve on that price. 15% off is a big discount. So it's compatible with this engine. It's compatible with this beautiful engine, which I have fitted with the Musa kart, wheels, although Jin does make kart wheels, or at least he's going to soon, because there's a new hit and miss engine in the wings. Will it work for the Lister? Anyway, I'll put up Jin's information from his website about which current engines this new friction clutch is compatible with. Now, while we're on the Lister-D, would you be surprised to hear that this comes in a kit form? I would be, and in fact it doesn't. But there's an Asian YouTuber whose YouTube videos are generally about assembling things that shows this in a kit form. Or does it? There's a kind of video on YouTube called a reaction video, where you go through another YouTuber's video and react and comment to it. It's completely allowed and it's very common. I'm not entirely comfortable with that, but in this case I'm only going to get a couple of hundred views from this. Those of you who are interested, who maybe have this engine and want to see the insides of it a bit better, this guy otherwise gets thousands of views from his normal audience, so it's not going to be any problem to him that I show some of his video. The other thing about this guy is that he doesn't speak, so I think he's Southeast Asian, and no speaking happens. So let's start playing the video now. So it's a standard OKMO box, and it did not look like to me that that was actually a kit. And if you're looking at this, you can see that there are plenty of assembled parts. He's just sort of taken off the easier parts like the carburetor, the exhaust, the access hatch that you're looking at there. I'm particularly interested to see the parts over the starting clutch on the back, the accessory starting clutch. I'm interested to see those parts removed. Along with the switch, which is in a sort of a little fake miniature magneto. When I was taking apart my magneto to adjust the timing, I only took off the 3 screws on the brass cup on the end. I didn't take the top off. But if you would like to turn that top around and have those wires coming out the other side, it looks like you're quite able to do so. We've also got a good view. On the left of the screen here, you can see the centrifugal governor housing and the helical gear in the middle. That helical gear drives both the centrifugal governor on the left and the switching for the spark on the right. Let's continue. So I'm pleased to see that he's not wearing his special gloves today that all the YouTubers use, but he does have that special self-healing cutting mat. They are made from a durable PVC or TPE plastic that allows you to slice on them with hobby knives without ruining your desk. In the full-size engine, I've got a Lister that has this part. Here, there is a kind of a valve in there that lets it exhaust and equalize the pressure from the crankcase. Jin has done that a different way. He's got a slot out of the part at the top. On goes one of the side hatches. That was the one where you could see the crankshaft. I've never used tweezers to place my screws, but I must try it. Yeah, as you can see, this was never a kit. He's got the engine in the normal box, unscrewed a bunch of things, and he's showing you putting them together. But for those of us with the engine, this is still useful to see. Okay, so here's the carb. He's having a good look at that. The carb couples to the control rod for the centrifugal governor. Okay, that will be the carb side. Yep, there he goes. It needs the airtight seal there. It doesn't need an airtight seal, I think, on the exhaust side particularly, but unless you want drips of oil coming down, that would be a good idea. Okay, he's setting up the adjustment for the governor. And yeah, we do have a seal on the exhaust as well, so we don't get drips coming out of there. He said that's the air filter. That is not the air filter, that's the exhaust. Okay, the teeny tiny spark plug, the new size. Don't do them up very tight. You'll destroy, I mean, we do have to take these in and out to clean them, but that's almost, no, one was enough. No, one was enough. He's at the point of destroying that ring now, so you've got to be careful. He's calling this a relief valve. I would call it a tap myself, but there you go. It's not really relieving anything, it's emptying. A valve would be like a pressure valve with a spring. That's just a tap. But anyway, it's a beautiful new feature on Jin's engines. This is the first one. And a plug over here. I think he's about to tap something with his wrench, and this is a feature that this guy does on a lot of his videos, is tap, tap, tap on things with his wrench, and it drives the commenters, there he goes, oh, it drives commenters crazy, because why do you want little denty scratches in everything you build? What's the point? We know it's metal. Okay, so he's assembling this with the straps. Obviously he's taken those off to prepare this assembly previously, or disassembled it previously. But I still, you know, it's nice to see and understand our engines a bit more. And I think that there's something to be gained from looking at a video like this, commenting on it. A little self-locking nuts down there. Again, I have a different way of putting those on. I generally hold them in my Weeha socket and put them on that way. He's just having a good look at that. And there goes the filler. Okay, and this assembly goes over the starting clutch on this side. Again, I wouldn't use that starting clutch. It puts a lot of pressure on various gears inside the engine because that's not hooked directly to the crankshaft. Use the starting clutch in the flywheel, unless you can't. Yeah, nice little wrench there. Those do need to be done up reasonably tightly or they will leak. In fact, I think one of mine is leaking very, very slightly, but it doesn't matter. You can just tighten it up. I've just forgotten to. Nice camera work there. Okay, so we're getting a view here. He hasn't put the flywheel on yet. Okay, there's the base. He's already taken it off. Now he's going to put it back on. Replace the structure. I would have called it an engine, but there you go. English is a second language. He's doing fine. In fact, he's doing fine because he doesn't say anything at all in the whole video. Okay, he's keeping that little key part in with a bit of grease. That's smart. I should have thought of that. I usually just poke this thing on and drop it a few times. Yes, it does come with a teeny tiny washer for the lock nut. And yeah, and when you get the engine, you are supposed to put in the 5mm or 7mm, whatever it is. I can't remember how many mil it is, but yeah. Jin is now suggesting $20.50 engine oil for his hit and miss engines to give them a smoother run. Maybe for the first run you put thicker oil like this. Now, to get that Retrol sticker off the side, I used a hairdryer. Very, very carefully used a hairdryer, and then I used a kitchen knife, but very careful not to push the edge into the paint. Just very careful to start lifting that sticker up as I heated it, and I had no problem at all, and I got no paint pulled off, and I got no scratches, so I'm very pleased with that. He's using water, distilled water. We can use tap water here in New Zealand. You could also use proper coolant for your engine, is anti-corrosive. I think he'll put the drive wheel on the flywheel soon. Now, I know Jin has made these better, but bigger, taller, but you can actually, he hasn't quite there, you can actually fit them in so that the thing's closed properly. You can. It's just not easy. Yes, you have to hold that up if you're going to use that, because otherwise it doesn't have ridges on the tube where it enters the petrol tank, and so it will block the petrol tank and air won't let it go in. So you do need to hold that up if you're going to use that. That's supplied with the engine. Doesn't look full to me, mate. Anyway, he still hasn't put that drive wheel on. The other machine parts are lubricated. Yeah, I did put some oil in there, but I'm not 100% sure. Oh, and look, I'd noticed behind there that there's a hole as well. Behind those tweezers, there's a little hole. But anyway, yes, I did put some oil in there, and I couldn't figure out whether Jin wanted it in there or the other hole, so I put some in both. Yep, he can check that he's got spark. He hasn't put that drive wheel on for some reason. See the 6 empty holes beside on the side of the flywheel there. He hasn't put the... He's trying to start that, so he's going to try again. Oh, yep, it's away. So he's not using much premix oil in his fuel, otherwise he'd be getting smoke. I would recommend that you do use some 2-stroke oil in your fuel. This has 3 metal piston rings, an oil ring, compression ring. I can't remember which one is doubled up. It's an amazing little engine. We love this engine, and it was fun seeing it get disassembled a bit and seeing some of the insides more than I've done on mine, because there's no need to take the parts off if you don't need to. Very clever little engine, and off it goes. Yeah, it's interesting how this guy keeps tapping everything with his wrench. What's he going to do here? He's going to take it off and put it on the cart. I had some problems with this. I don't think mine came with the screws to put it on the cart, and I had to find some out of my screws. I never mentioned that to Jin. But yeah, I think the bag of screws that I would have expected, I either lost it, which is a possibility, which is why I don't complain. But you can't use the same screws that you use that to mount on this base here, because on mine the holes were too big and those screws seemed like they screwed in, and then they just pulled straight out. But there's room underneath the lateral beams of this cart. The holes are drilled out so that you can put a locking hex nut underneath it. And in fact, I put the locking hex nuts on top because I like the look of putting those nuts where you can see them. Yeah, reconnect it, and there it is. Beautiful job. Is he going to start it up again? He is going to start it up again. He still hasn't put the flywheel drive thing back for some reason. I think he just forgot. And there it is, running again. Very satisfying engine. I mean, those looking at this who like their hit and miss engines might think, oh, it's just going bang, 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 bang. But looking at the centrifugal governor working, and just the sound of these things in real life, smoke, getting everything running, it's always more fun than you expect running these. Yeah, you can see the governor working there. This is working a little slow. It could use wearing in and a bit of oil in the governor, and then that reacts really fast. You'll see in my videos. And there he goes. That's probably about it. Nice bit of photography. Don't know what camera he's using. I use a smartphone because I'm poor. Yeah, water can be extracted while it's running, but I'm not sure why you'd want to do that. But yeah, it's a neat trick. And it is a bit drippy, drippy. I wonder whether that's got a gasket, a little bit of rubber or something in there. It's a very small hole anyway, but it works. Hey, how often are you going to use it? It looks fantastic and you know that it works. Doesn't need to be, you know, a flood, does it? And he's going to show you putting on these. He does a pretty good job of putting these on. And the decals have been, I think they're really good decals. I think Jin's done a really good job of these. Yes, pull that plastic sideways. You'll see him do this in a second. If you haven't got your engine yet, you'll put these on. Although the engine is not supplied as a kit in any shape or form, you do have to put the decals on yourself, and that's a really good example of how you do it. Slowly and sideways, not pulling it out towards you. But they stick like a bastard, and in fact they're so sticky that if you get these on the wrong angle, that's it. They're going to stay there unless you know, use a heat gun and get them off and get new ones from Jin. The amazing final result. Has he put the drive wheel on the flywheel? I mean, they're beautiful shots, but has he? And he's left that retro thing on, which you shouldn't. 100 years, yes. Nope, he hasn't put the drive wheel back on. Maybe he doesn't like it. Thank you for watching. I hope you have enjoyed seeing a few more shots of the Lister-D and some of the parts on the sides of it taken off, a little bit of assembly that Jin would do near the end of building the engine. This is a commentary video. If you've got this far, you probably enjoyed watching it. Do give us a like and do consider subscribing if you haven't already done that. It's free. It really helps the channel. It helps me do this, which I enjoy, and I hope you do too. Thanks a lot.